Alright guys, you want a Churchill video? We're getting a Churchill video.
So this is just a voiceover and some recordings of my trip to the Tank Museum in Bovington. It was a fantastic time being out there, and the first section was World War I, so we see a couple of land ships. The Mark IIIs, the Mark IVs. Right now this is one on display with all the mud around it. A good old Vickers motorbike to deal with the traffic in front of you. Now, this one had the shorter guns and a little plexiglass door. Poke your head and see the engine, see the guns. And the background, we'll get around to them, you see some other variants. You never really get to appreciate the scale of these tanks without actually getting up close to them. It really is like a strange feeling. This is one we can actually get inside of. Now, most of it's plexiglassed off, but see the front with the driver and the engine, around the rear where you would have more stuff. Now, these are the lengthier ones. So that's a model of the Mark 8, the International, or the Liberty as the Americans call it. Yes, the Independent. The how many turrets can we fit on this tank? Answer, yes. Here we have the start of the light tanks. I think that was a Vickers. A Vickers light tank. Oh, and the creepy horses. Here's some armoured cars. This is the Beaverette. Very simplistic. The Rolls-Royce armoured car, very popular, used in the desert and throughout other places by many people. The Thornycroft Bison. Why don't we put a concrete bunker in the back of a truck? A little bit more of the Rolls-Royce armoured car, because I think it deserved it. Yes, the Panzer I. The quote-unquote agricultural tractor. The Saumur S-35, one of the French tanks. Very thick armour. Didn't do too badly at the start. The Matilda I. How much armour would you like on that tank, sir? Yes, please. And the very exposed suspension. The Guy. I never realised that the Guy had those like smoke launchers on the turret. Italian tanks, the best tanks in the world.
A lie.
And the Matilda II. Love me a good Matilda II. Definitely an upgrade over the Matilda I. Covered suspension this time. Oh yes, this is one of the early cruisers. I think this is the A10. It was the A9 cruiser. Again, multiple turrets on it that they would eventually remove. That was the quote-unquote slow motion suspension system before they actually used the Christie suspension. Now this might be the A10. I'm running off memory right now. Literally do not have a script in front of me. Someone's going in memory. Yes, the M3A1 Stuart. I love me a good light tank. I honestly thought it would be bigger, but it's just a little nice little thing. Also, mini version of the suspension that you'll see on the Shermans. The Valentine too. Of course, it didn't have great reputation at the start, but got better. The Sudkvs 251. Just German half-track. You see a lot of them around media. Yes, the L3, the flamethrower tank. The flamethrower tankette. Such a tiny thing. Like, the armour is really thin. When knocking on it, you can just sense that it's thinner. The Dingo. Very limited traverse in the gun to the front, but still. The Churchill 2. Churchill is up there for me among some of my favourite tanks. So many road wheels. A bit more of the front of it. That was actually, it was a converted Churchill 1. This is the Panzer IIIN with the sort of shorter range infantry support gun as opposed to the longer barrel gun designed for taking on enemy armour. The M3 Grant, different to the M3 Lee, I think just by nature of the gun, if I remember correctly. That is a Centaur anti-air gun turret. And a Crusader 3 with a 6-pounder, as opposed to the 2-pounder. Little driver box there. Some helmets. War Thunder, I always like putting helmets on my tanks. And there it is in the background, the Tetrarch. I was lucky to be able to get this footage of the Tetrarch because there was some kind of leak from the roof, and shortly after taking this footage they cordoned the whole area off to deal with it. So this is my one and only time being able to get this footage. And it is as cute as I like. Oh, the AVRE. So good. Big ol' spigot mortar on the front. Hago, one of the Japanese tanks. And the Universal Carrier. I really wanted to sit inside of it. The rules are you can't get into the tanks, which is, you know, perfectly fair. But boy, did I really want to get in. Panzer II-L, one of the intermediary tanks. And this is the King Tiger. No, not it's King Tiger, it's Tiger 2. Sorry. Showing how bad I am at recognizing tanks, despite so many of these looking similar. Again, it's so big. I'm 6 foot, and this is me reaching out as far as I can with my hand to show the height. Another little armored car with a mortar on the front. Now, I was recording this in cinematic mode, and on the phone it looked fine, but when actually processing these, it a bit more blurry than I would have liked, but still. Also, some of them are in 4K, some of them are in 1080p. That was my mistake. Ram 2. What if we had the Sherman, but just upped the fucking armor to 1,000,000? Staghound. I have a weakness for, like, tank turreted armored cars. And I'm not sure that actually comes from a tank or not, but it seems like it. That is the M10 Achilles. And Achilles, I think, was the British designation for it. And now we have a Sherman. The M4A4. I think they have an A1 and A2 around the place, and a Sherman Firefly. You can probably see them later. Panzer IV. Get to see the actual distance between the outer, like, armor sheets and the actual turret. Morris light recon car. So blocky. And that is the American half-track transport. It's the M9A1. This is the M5 Stuart tank. Slightly bigger, slightly more armor. Still, though, General Sherman shape, although the fact that it's Stuart shape. And yes, the Jagdpanzer. Jagdtiger. It's a huge thing. Like, unbelievably big. Missing one of the middle road wheels, though, unfortunately. This, I think, is the Jagdpanzer. It is. The Chaffee, which I was surprised at how small it actually was. You have some cutaways for the transmission at the engine. I thought it was going to be a decently bigger tank, but it wasn't. Oh, yes, the Archer, the backwards tank. This is the front of it, and that is the back of it. Yes, this is the back of the tank. Well, the tank destroyer, self-propelled gun. We see a Ram Kangaroo. Kangaroo just being the general term of take the turret off and make it as a impromptu APC. T-34, 85. In pretty good condition. I think the saw's missing. Yes, that is the... what is the name of that one again? That is the Jagdpanther. Look at all those interlocking road wheels. Again, huge. Oh yes, the the Panzerfaust bicycle. That is the Chieftain? I'm uncertain. Yes, one of the A1 Shermans. I think that's one of the bigger gun. The mantle looks different. And a flail Sherman for dealing with mines. Churchill 4. They started covering up the tracks. This man is very impressed that the tracks have been covered. The AEC armored car. Again, armored car with a tank turret on top. Again, I say tank turret mainly because it has a big fuck-off cannon on it. Yes, the FE 4005, the death fridge, the barn. Mainly a test bed for the gun. And the TOG 2, just kept in the corner. The Tortoise. The Centurion. The Challenger 1. That's a Chieftain. The other one must be something else. And the Conqueror. Here is the Ukraine exhibit. So here's a T-72. Followed by an MBT-LBU. And a Marder. Not one of the World War II German Marders, but one of the modern APCs. IFVs, I mean. Get to see in the back. Yes, an M113. And you are able to get inside of it. I'm actually surprised at how relatively comfortable the seats were. Now, this is me sitting on it with regular clothes and it not moving. But I've sat on worse bus benches. Samaritan, this one painted up to be an ambulance. And a Challenger 2. They had a cage up there. I don't know if that is remnants of a coke cage or if the museum just didn't want people climbing up on it. I am uncertain in that regard. A roast beef. Thick thighs save lives. The Comet one, everyone loves a Comet. And an example of its engine. And another Matilda 1. Those little brass things on the side are fire extinguishers. In the gift shop. All the models, if you're a model nerd like me. Now, I think this is day 2, because I went over 2 days. The first day my battery started to die. That's a Humber. Big fan of the Humber. That is a Scorpion. Now, the Irish Army had some Scorpions, but we got rid of them a number of years ago. Little light recon tanks. Air transferable. That is the AMX. Yes, it is the AMX. French vehicle. Light tank, big gun. I think this is another Centurion. He's over here because the toy company had this as one of their premium models. Historically. This is Michael. This is the second Sherman tank to roll off the line, and this was sent to the UK. It's definitely a lot more cast and very early model. Yes, this is the Chinese... I can't remember the actual name of it, but it to me looks like a T-60 with a British gun. And this is the Centaur. Looks kind of like a Cromwell, but it has an infantry support gun on it. Mainly meant for emplacements as opposed to other tanks. Of course, the Renault FT-17, one of the most effective tanks of World War I. A Whippet, the one that throws the fumes out the front. So if you drive forward into it, you start choking. Yes, the Crossley Chevrolet. When I first saw this car, initially reminded me of something from BattleTech. Carrying on past it, we have yet another armoured car. Love the amount of machine guns on it. The Lanchester Mark II. And a Carden Lloyd tankette. Medium tank Mark II. You kind of see some design aspects carried on between different tanks. Different kinds of like suspension protection, different turret shapes, like that's similar to the Rolls-Royce armoured car. This is a Panzer II again. And a Char B1 with the big ol' howitzer from the front. No traverse on that hull gun. You had to turn the whole tank to use it. Still, thick armour. And I believe this is the A13. One of the final versions of this tank, I think, before the Crusader came along. And here you have the Tiger 131. The only working Tiger left in the world. In person, it's easy to see how people could get intimidated by it. It is a huge piece of machinery. Panzer III with some added armor plates, so it's one of the mid-war upgrades. And the Matilda II again. Again, you see that sort of sloped suspension protection, like we saw in one of the previous ones. And the Valentine 9. Again, all these tanks are 2-pounders. In the background, you see an 88mm gun on a towable chassis. This is it sort of designed mainly for artillery, but you could use it for anti-tank as well. The Leopard tank. We're getting into the more Cold War, modern day stuff. But this is the Chieftain. I need to look up what the other tank was. It's kicking me that my memory's failing me like that. Another Scorpion. Smoke projectors. Now this is a T62. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, I am right. T62. And across the way from it, we see it compared to a Challenger in a second. And just the size difference between Soviet tanks versus Western tanks. So there's the Challenger. I think the camera pans over. Yeah, so that's the T62. And then that's the Challenger. Yes, the Ferret. Another T72. Oh, I need to go into the Leopard. I know who I put my money on. The Saladin. Another light vehicle that I very much enjoy, although historically here there are some issues with it. Yes, the Patton tank with its curved front to try and help deflect. This is the Centurion. Yeah, it's kind of a mid to late war World War II tank. You can kind of see the transitionary period between there and World War II. And this is a Churchill 8. 7, 8, but it's the crocodile version with the flamethrower. That's how the flamethrower works. Sherman Firefly, 17-pounder in a Sherman. You know, just in case you needed it. And here is the Cromwell. The name of it is unfortunate for people living over here, but a decent little tank. I say little, it's a medium. The Daimler, the armored car. I think it's a Dingo with a Tetrarch turret, if my memory serves me well. If I could have one of these to drive around in day to day, I totally would. Don't worry about that tank. That tank is currently getting changed. T70, T-34 76. Painted with... Is that painted with... Yeah, probably the swastika is probably a captured one. And here is the Panther. It has one of the armored skirts. Doesn't have all of them though. Again, like the other Tiger 2s and the Yag Panthers and Yag Tigers and such, it is a huge machine. Built-in armed troops. Hooray! And here is the transmission. You can tell that it's never been used because it's not broken into pieces. And that is my trip to the Tank Museum. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm definitely going to be going back again. It's not as much money as I thought to go over, and I think I might make it a semi-regular thing. Anyways, thank you all very much, and I will see you for the next video. Take care.